Detroit bankruptcy will have an impact that could last months, if not years.
And joining us right now on the phone is bankruptcy attorney Scott Wolfson. He represented creditors in General Motors' bankruptcy case. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Sure, good evening.
First, tell us, Detroit's bankruptcy will be a lot different than GM's. A, because GM had money that they could make later by selling cars. Here in the city of Detroit, we're simply broke. Isn't that right?
Yeah, well, there definitely is a limited source of revenue for the city of Detroit. And I think that fact, combined with a lot of other procedural facts, set us up for a lot longer process here. That GM process was referred to as a quick rinse, where here we're looking at more of a prolonged soak over a number of years.
Yeah, Scott, you also represented creditors in the GM crisis, so let's speak on the behalf of the creditors, which do include the labor unions of Detroit. What are their chances of getting anything out of this thing?
Well, I think the first thing they're probably going to do is determine whether the city was actually eligible to file a Chapter 9 bankruptcy petition. Unlike the GM and Chrysler bankruptcies in the Chapter 11 proceeding, they could just file, whereas in this case, the city has to show that it was in fact insolvent, that it's been negotiating with its creditors in good faith.
What's your gut feeling on that, Scott?
That is something that gets heavily litigated. It's hard to prognosticate, but I know there are a number of very competent professionals working both for the city and for the creditors.
Scott, let me ask you a question. Why not a bailout for the city of Detroit? I know some people were talking to the governor about a rainy day fund, which is only $500 million. And I know this is an $18 billion debt. Would that have even been a possibility for a city like Detroit?
Well, it just seems like the magnitude of the debt that we're talking about here really requires a bankruptcy plan of adjustment to set it straight. The city of Detroit needs a new contract with its creditors that is realistic based on its revenues.
All right, Scott Wolfson, bankruptcy attorney, again representing creditors in the GM bankruptcy, very familiar with the process in that kind of bankruptcy, but again, this one is municipal bankruptcy, and it's a lot of people just don't know what's going to happen because they are actually very rare.
And it's new territory, too,
Exactly.
so a lot of people don't know what will happen.